Hey guys, Amy here with Valor Canine Academy. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Amy Pishner. I'm the owner and head trainer of Valor Canine Academy. We have 2 locations, Spokane, Washington, and Chattanooga, Tennessee. We specialize in puppy training, basic obedience, and behavior rehabilitation training. Alright, so today I want to talk about my favorite training equipment and the training equipment that I recommend that you use. If you do not know how to properly use some of this equipment, please consult a professional trainer. There's a right way to use everything and there's a wrong way to use everything. First of all, slip lead. I use slip leads day 1, lesson 1 for all my new dogs. I recommend a Mendota slip lead, 3/8 inch by 6 feet. It is my favorite width and length for a slip lead. It's awesome. When you fit it to your dog, make sure you put it in the shape of a P for left side heel dogs. Slide it over their head. Slide it over their head and then cinch it up right behind the neck. That's a proper fit for this slip lead. Thanks, buddy. Havoc is going to be my model for some of this stuff. For a left side heel dog, put it in the shape of a Q. Same thing, slide over, cinch up. Make sure that you use this little leather piece to move the collar into place and make it as tight or as loose as you want. I recommend having it nice and snug behind their head. All right. Next, treat pouch. My favorite treat pouch is a pet safe treat pouch. Don't get the smaller size, get the bigger size. The front pocket is great for clickers and keys and phones and that kind of thing. And the back pocket is great for the treats. I use a Ziploc bag, that way the treats don't bleed through the bag. Awesome, love this. As far as treats, Happy Howies, awesome, cut them into whatever size that you want. Zuke makes great treats. You want them to be small, smelly, and non-crumbling. All right, now let's get into some training collars. When it comes to prong collars, don't go cheap. Don't get the cheap prong collars. They don't correct evenly. They've got all the big clunky parts on them. I like Hermsprenger. They make a nice quality prong collar that stands to the test of time. Great collar. If you have a dog that's over 100 pounds approximately, you're gonna wanna use the 2.25 millimeter prong collar, okay? They make it in black and silver. If you have a dog who's under 100 pounds, maybe 80, 90-ish, depending on your dog's strength and power, I recommend using a 2 millimeter prong collar. Now, Havoc is going to demonstrate the proper fit for this because a lot of people get this wrong, and I see these dogs that come in with prong collars that are usually too big, as in like prong size, and also way too big around their neck, to where when you cinch it up, there's literally no correction. The proper fit is that you want it to be, when you cinch it up, there's still some tension in the collar, so that you can tighten and loosen. If you tighten and these center rings the side rings are touching the center ring, it is too loose. If you correct and there's literally no give to the collar, it is way too tight on your dog. Heffrey, come here. You want it to sit nice and high up on your dog's neck, behind their ears here and under their chin. So for example, on Havoc, this is too loose. I'm gonna take out 2 prongs here and see if that does better for him. Pull those out. Okay, so right up here, the back of his neck, perfect. So if you can see, when I cinch it, there's some correction being given, okay? That's right where you want it, nice and high in the neck, pull all that fur under it. It doesn't wear down here like a necklace, it wears up here. Quick little cinch, gives a correction, perfect. Good job, little buddy. For the smaller dogs, use the smaller prongs. They sell extra links for all of these. So even if you have a dog whose neck is bigger than that, just buy more links. They're like $2 a piece. Awesome. All right. Another training collar that I use and recommend for dogs that are either too sensitive for a prong collar, or they don't need a prong collar, or weaning away from a prong collar. Starmark Pro Training Collar. Awesome. This is actually the school that I went to a couple years back now. So small, large. They fit the same as a prong collar, okay? So you don't want those side rings to be touching the center ring. That's too loose, and you also don't want it to be so tight that there's no give. But again, you're gonna fit it under the chin and high up on the back of the neck there. That is the proper fit for these. These are great. All right, let's talk about martingale. So this is a martingale collar. It's got basically 2 rings, 2 loops. It's got the main collar and then the corrective piece of the collar. A lot of the time I see this on dogs where when this part is pulled, these 2 rings come together. Okay, that's too loose. A lot of the time training collars are too loose. Heffrey, hi buddy. So when you fit this around your dog's head, this is actually Zoe's collar, you want to be able to cinch it and still have some material down there. You don't want those two metal rings on the sides to touch. Again, you're going to wear it nice up and high on the neck. That way when you cinch, there's some correction being given to the dog. You look good in pink, little buddy. All right, let's talk about e-collars. There are a lot of e-collars out there, and you can spend $1,000 and more on an e-collar. I saw an e-collar the other day that's like $2,000. That's insane. Now you are getting, you know, added range and that kind of thing. Multi-dog, those are going to be more expensive. But for your basic e-collar, I recommend the Mini Educator. It's a great collar. It's inexpensive. Really, for what you're getting, it's a great price. $179.99 MSRP. That's what we sell it for. That's the minimum, the lowest price you're going to find it for. Half-mile range, one size fits all. You can convert it into a 2-dog system, but this is a great e-collar. Now, as far as fitting, a lot of people, again, have this too loose, and the dog does not feel it. So when I put it on his head, I'm going to hold it in place here at the top of his neck. You want the receiver to be either on the left side or the right side of the dog, okay? It doesn't wear on the bottom. This is where a bark collar fits. You want it to be on one side or the other. They actually make bungee straps, so if you don't want to deal with futzing around and trying to find that perfect fit, get a bungee strap. It'll go way faster. I have one, I just need to put it on. Okay, so this is the proper fitting. It can actually go even a little bit tighter. If you can fit more than 2 fingers, it's too loose. If it's too loose, your dog isn't going to feel it. You won't know what their working level is, and you might think they're just being stubborn, when in reality, they're not feeling the correction. So you want it to be nice and snug. Boop, boop, there we go. And fitted on the side of his neck here. There are 2 different options as far as the actual prongs for the e-collar. For this part, there's short and there's long. I use long for longer coated dogs. I use short for short-haired dogs. And really quick, because I have to, anytime I use an e-collar on someone else's dog, I always make them try it on their own hand. So, for those of you who think that this is just the cruelest device in the world, this is a 5. Pressing. Not feeling anything. His level, Havoc's level, is a 5. I don't even feel it. Here's a 10. Oh yeah, I think I felt something. 10. 15. Oh yeah. What would I even compare it to? You know when you do like those back things and they like stimulate your back? It's kind of what it feels like. It's kind of like tingle. That's a 15. Most dogs are way below a 15, 20. Yeah, I felt that one. It's like you know when you're about to do it, so you brace for it. Again, 20. It doesn't hurt. 25. Again, like that one I felt. That got my attention. So my working level would be like a 15, okay? It goes up to 100, but Jesus, if you're using 100, you're doing something very wrong, okay? Most dogs, trained properly, are a 10 or below. Around distractions, maybe a little bit higher. All right, moving on. For those of you who hate the e-collar, put it on your hand, okay? Feel what the dogs are feeling. It surprises them. It kind of gets their attention. It does not shock their entire body, and they don't go into this state of paralysis. Long lines. I have used a lot of different long lines. I used the long line that I got at Von Lick when I was doing tracking with different dogs. I've got cheap long lines. I've got nice long lines, as in more, I paid more money for. Best bang for your buck is this Biothane long line. I just ordered a bunch of them. When it comes to the length of the long line, I like 15 feet, 20 feet. This one's 20 feet. Depending on how coordinated you are and how much excess you can handle. 20 feet is a good length. This one's nice and thin too. It's not super thick. It's not super bunchy. And it's really easy to just, you know, wrap it up. It doesn't hurt when it's sliding through your hands, which I like. Like the nylon ones, those hurt. You have to wear gloves for those. Does not hurt. So I really like that aspect. And it also does not have a loop on the end. Sometimes having a loop, it just gets caught on things and then, you know, it's causing problems. It also has a really nice buckle on it. This is a solid buckle. This is a big part of the expense for the entire long line. Nice buckle on it. I've had this Longline now since August, and it's working great. There are no rips in it. No dog has chewed through it. I wouldn't let them anyways, but no dog has chewed through it. Really nice, solid Longline. I buy them off Etsy, Calypso K9. Look them up. I think it's around 20-25 bucks for a 20-foot Longline. Very nice. Okay, let's see. Muzzles. We've got the Baskerville muzzle. You need to measure it to your dog, or have me measure it to your dog. For example, Havoc is like a size 5. This is a 4. This would not fit on him. This is a little bit, this is a muzzle that I like for summertime because they can drink through it, they can eat through it, they can breathe just fine. You're not restricting them. With the smaller muzzles, or the muzzles that hold their muzzle shut, like if they're trying to choke, like they can't. And they can't drink water, and they can barely take treats. I like the Baskerville muzzle. This is my favorite. It goes up over the forehead and then tightens behind the ears. If you want to do a muzzle check, Free, yeah. Sit. So let's say that this was the proper size for Havoc, and it is not. It's barely even gonna fit. Let's say that this is properly fitted to him. To do a muzzle check, what you want to do to make sure that it's fitted correctly is reach under here and lift up. If it doesn't fly right off your dog's head, it's properly fitted. Muzzle check, great. At Von Lick, when we're dealing with some pretty serious dogs, we actually like lift the dogs, and if they can't get out of it, then it's a good fit. And they actually use heavy duty leather agitation muzzles. Nothing compared to this is nothing compared to those. So I like this muzzle. I like the Trixie muzzle. It's less of a muzzle, if you will, so that it doesn't bother the dogs as much. And then from here, so after a dog is solid on the Trixie muzzle and they're almost to that stage where I can trust them, I actually use a gentle leader as like another option for a muzzle. It keeps them from opening their mouth, so if they want to bite, they can't. But the gentle leader is used primarily, of course, for heel. I'll be honest, I think it's a great concept, but I do not use this very much. Why? Because a lot of owners don't know how to use it properly. And with the way that it wears, you know, it basically goes over their nose and under their chin. If you yank your dog on that, you're gonna hurt them. Like, this is gonna cause more damage used improperly than this will. You'll be hard pressed to damage a dog if you're properly correcting them on this. It's like practically impossible. This one though, if you yank them when they're pulling, you're gonna literally pull their neck back, and that's gonna do some damage. But I will use this not attached to anything as a pseudo muzzle. All right, let's talk about this one, the bark collar. I use bark collars. Amy, why do you use bark collars? Because barking dogs are annoying. That's why. I can't stand it when dogs are just barking their heads off for no good reason. Now, my dogs do not need bark collars. They wear them, they don't need them. But it keeps them quiet in the situation where, you know, if I'm in a lesson and someone pulls up, yes, I want my dogs to bark, you know, when somebody pulls up so that I know someone is here. But if I'm in a lesson, I don't want you barking. So I put this on, and they know when this is on, they're conditioned to understand, be quiet. But let's say that you have a dog, and for whatever reason, not enough exercise, training, mental stimulation, your dog is barking his head off. Get a bark collar. Do all of your neighbors a favor. There's nothing more annoying than listening to someone else's dog bark. And if your dog is that dog, get a bark collar. $89.99. It's great. I'll even sell it to you for a discount if you'll put it on your annoying barking dog. But the Sport Dog makes a nice bark collar, the 10R bark collar. All right, that's all of my training equipment. This video is at least under 15 minutes. I hope it's helpful. I hope it's educational. Remember, just because I use prong collars doesn't mean I start on prong collars. I start on a slip lead. You have to teach the dog what to do, what's allowed, what's not allowed. Teach him, then correct him for the disobedience. If you start on this, you're going to desensitize your dog to corrections. Very few dogs should be started on a prong collar, in my opinion. Start them by teaching them, showing them, motivating them to learn through the use of treats and communication and praise. then correct them when they're like, I know what you want, I'm simply not gonna do it. I hope this video is helpful. Please share it so other people know what equipment to buy and what not to buy. Oh, and also for leashes, since I forgot to bring in a leash, don't get those super long, thick, gaudy leashes. Get yourself a nice 6-foot, 1/2-inch leather leash. It's the best thing you'll ever do for yourself. I got leashes 4 years ago when I was at Von Lick. Amish made leashes. I still have them, and I tell you what, a leather leash that's not broken in is annoying, but a broken in leather leash is worth its weight in gold. They're so nice and they're so soft and they're so easy on your hands. Don't get all the leashes that have all the extra stuff on there. There's nothing more annoying than like bungee leashes and or the leash is too thin and it's snapping, or it's too thick and you got so much leash all over the place. Get yourself a nice leather leash. We have some here. You're welcome. Have a great day, you guys. Please share this video.